But we have a great show planned for you. We're going to talk about all the ways the GOP is going to try to throw a wrench in the count. The places where Trump is trying to stop the count. The places where Trump is trying to recount. And the places where he is sending his supporters to commit violence. But now there was a clip that was circulating among my friends, and I thought it was very fitting. AOC tweeted this out in 2017, I believe it was. And this dude right here, he sums it up.
In its sins. As a country, we're not unique in our evils, to be honest with you. I think where we may be singular is our refusal to acknowledge them. And the legends and myths we tell about our inherent, goodness to hide and cover and conceal so that we can maintain a kind of willful ignorance that protects our innocence. See, the thing is that when the Tea Party was happening, we were saying, pundits, oh, it's just about economic populism. It's not about race. When people knew, social scientists were already writing that what was driving the Tea Party were anxieties about demographic shifts, that the country was changing, that they were seeing these racially ambiguous babies on Cheerios commercials, that the country wasn't quite feeling like it was a white nation anymore. And people were screaming from the top of their lungs, this is not just simply economic populism. This is the ugly underbelly of the country. See, the thing is this, and I'll say this and I'll take the hit on it. There are communities that have had to bear the brunt of America white Americans confronting the danger of their innocence. And it happens every generation. So somehow we have to kind of, oh my God, is this who we are? And just again, here's another generation of babies. Think about it, that 2-year-old had his bones broken by two parents trying to shield him from being killed. A woman who has been married to this man for as long as I've been on the planet almost, lost her husband. For what? And so what we know is that the country has been playing politics for a long time on this hatred. We know this. So it's easy for us to place it all on Donald Trump's shoulders. It's easy for us to place Pittsburgh on his shoulders. It's easy for me to place Charlottesville on his shoulders. It's easy for us to place El Paso on his shoulders. This is us. And if we're going to get past this, we can't blame it on him. He's a manifestation of the ugliness that's in us. I've had the privilege of growing up in a tradition that didn't believe in the myths and the legends because we had to bear the brunt of them. Either we're going to change, Nicole, or we're going to do this again and again, and babies are going to have to grow up without mothers and fathers, uncles and aunts, friends, while we're trying to convince white folk to finally leave behind a history that will maybe, or embrace a history that might set them free from being white. Finally.
So that's one of the things I want to talk about today, is the mythology of America. Trump is just a symptom of this belief. Goes all the way back to Manifest Destiny, the shining city on a hill, all the fucking bullshit that has been fed to Americans, the propaganda. And he brought up the Tea Party. The GOP has been trading on exactly what he was talking about for decades now. And if you do not believe me, I'm going to play you Ronald Reagan's campaign advisor, chief campaign strategist, I can't remember exactly what his name was. He's going to spell it out. This is exactly what the Republican Party has been doing for decades. Yeah, don't believe me. Don't believe me. Hear it from the horse's fucking mouth. Because it's not about economic populism. It absolutely is about race.
As a statistician or a political scientist, or no, as a psychologist, which I'm not, is how abstract you handle the race thing. In other words, you start out, and now y'all aren't quoting me on this. You start out in 1954 by saying nigger, nigger, nigger. By 1968, you can't say nigger. That hurts your backfire. So you say stuff like forced busing, states' rights, and all that stuff. And you're getting so abstract now. You're talking about cutting taxes and all of these things you're talking about are totally economic things. And the byproduct of them is blacks get hurt worse than whites. And subconsciously, maybe that is part of it. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that if it is getting that abstract and that coded, that we're doing away with the racial problem one way or the other. You follow me? Because obviously sitting around saying we want to cut taxes, we want to cut this, and we want is much more abstract than even the busing thing, and a hell of a lot more abstract than nigger, you know. So any way you look at it, race is coming on the back burner.
And it is not a coincidence that during that administration, the economic policies of our country became such that productivity continued to rise at the pace it was already rising, and compensation went flat. And they have been able to do this because they have banked on this mythology of what this country is. And they have sold these baby boomers their economic anxiety. Now, what it is their America is slipping away from them. They don't think that they can compete in a diverse America. They've had a leg up for so long. I talk to these right-wingers and I try to explain to them. You got your college almost entirely paid for by the government. You got a wage that was the result of government policies and taxation. You took that from me. You took that from my generation. And they have played to your fears of a changing nation. One where you might not do so well because you have to compete against everybody. Because a lot of people have been locked out of being able to participate in our society. And the Republican Party has played to your fears. Now the Democrats, you can't absolve them. The corporatist, sellout Democrats have banked on trying to appeal to the moderates, to still take corporate money and try to win with just a sliver of the electorate. Because in order to appeal to a broad population, you have to do things that aren't going to be in the interest of the corporations that are funding your campaigns. That's why they tried so hard to stop Bernie Sanders. Because Trump wasn't actually scary to them. The way Trump is scary to people like me. To people of color. To the LGBT community. And I want you to keep all of this in mind as we start playing videos of Republicans talking about the election outcome. Now, Joe Biden doesn't fix any of this shit. Joe Biden is just triage for a fucking flesh wound. Joe Biden has won the presidency. That's not official. Just as soon as Nevada announces that it's official, then Joe Biden has won. He needs 6 electoral votes. That's exactly what Nevada has. Biden was just a vessel in the right place at the right time. And that was one of the things that I was talking to a friend about. I'm happy to have Biden as my new enemy. I want to fight against Biden because he is weak. I see an opening inside the Democratic Party. And now one of the things in the last few months that I've really started to look at is why the Republicans are able to wield such power, and it's because their voters will vote for them no matter what. So as much as I don't like it, they have probably turned me into a solid Democratic voter for the rest of my life. Because that's the party where I am going to be able to wield power, and that party should be in power. Even if I have to fight them tooth and nail, which I will. January 21st. Us progressives and us leftists need to start working towards 2022, 2024. Primary the hell out of Biden or Kamala. Either or. It'll probably be Kamala. I don't know who that primary challenge would be. But I mean, it's clear after what we saw last night was progressive policies won. Minimum wage won. Pot won. Decriminalizing drugs won. The squad won all their races handily. And the talk is that Ilhan Omar's ground game is what pushed Biden over the edge in Minnesota. The talk is that Rashida Tlaib and her ground game and her door-knocking campaign helped put Biden over the top in Michigan. Democrats lost seats in the House. They're just barely going to retain the House. And it was the shit libs that lost. It was the progressives that won big. That gives me hope for the future of the party. The AOCs, the Rashida Tlaibs, the Katie Porters, the Ilhan Omars. They should have won the Senate. After all that has happened in this country, they should have won the Senate. It is their fault for not winning the Senate because they wanted to run people like Amy McGrath in Kentucky. Charles Booker would have been a much better candidate. Charles Booker might have been able to unseat Mitch McConnell. It is their fault, but they don't care. As I said, their strategy has been to try to peel off the small sliver of electorate so that they can keep taking corporate money, keep that gravy train flowing, and not actually have to deliver on anything. Trump has been great for their fundraising. They don't want to have to deliver on any promises. Running on Medicare for all would have been fantastic. They would have done a hell of a lot better if there was a unifying strategy in the Democratic Party to run on issues like Medicare for all. And that's another thing I get so upset about Democrats about, is their messaging. Republicans are great at hammering home one point, and all their people, they're all on the same talking points. They're all on the network saying the same goddamn thing. Whereas Democrats like Nancy Pelosi try to attack Ilhan Omar, one of the fucking superstars in the party, that the Democrats might not have actually taken the White House during this election if it hadn't have been for Ilhan Omar. But yeah, fucking Nancy Pelosi's got to go out and condemn her and play into this fucking right-wing mythology. But now, in just the last couple of hours, the Biden-Harris transition website has launched. They know it's coming. And that's one of the things that I said last night when he gave his little speech. I wish that he had been more presidential, that he had went ahead and talked as if he was taking over the country. Because perceptions are very important. Messaging is very important.